On this Thursday afternoon, evening. Hello, my name is Jonathan. I am a teacher for this course, PLAR History and Geography. We are live once again right now here at the Wassa Distance Education Center located in Silica. We are at the end of week number 5 of this term 2A, which means that next week is March break. We have made it to this break. So next week is March break. There will be no classes live at all, but you can always still work on your course material. But yes, our office will be closed tomorrow afternoon at noontime. So if you have any questions before the break, just let me know once I get back to my office tomorrow morning. But once it's noontime, local time, we're closed. Staff and teacher here at Wassa are off on break and a little March break. And then we'll be back at it the following week afterwards. So before we get started today, one thing. The week after March break, I will be away as I will be in Thunder Bay for our mental health roundtable discussion session. So next week the week after March break, so March the 21st and the 23rd, okay, that Tuesday and Thursday of our class, we're probably going to be a pre-recorded class or I'm going to do a makeup class. So as of right now, it's most likely going to be a pre-recorded class. I'll come back in time after the break. I'll spend some time in the office. I'll pre-record everything. And then that way we don't have to cancel any classes and do any makeup class. So, but again, worst case, if we have to cancel class, we'll just do a makeup class at a later date. But as of right now, we'll just do a pre-recorded class Tuesday the 21st and Thursday the 23rd. That's the plan, that's the goal. Again, I am away the week after March break as I'll be in Thunder Bay for the non-mental health roundtable session to represent Wassa along with Darren and along with Ruby and along with other NNEC as well. So Pelican, DFC, and other organizations will be there as well. So again, something that I'll be looking forward to, something that I'll learn, hopefully share some of my insight. But again, that's why I'm away the week after March break. So again, I'll post that on my Facebook status once I get back to my office tomorrow morning and go from there. So again, any questions in regards to that, any confusions, let me know. As always, I will send out an email to all the DC so that they know what is going on and that I'll be out of the office the week after March break. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. The March break is not here yet, so let's refocus. Let's try to get some work done before the break starts. So again, today we're starting a brand new lesson, lesson number 4. We're starting a brand new topic. No, we're not starting science or math. We're starting geography. Yes, geography, the second portion of this course. Again, this is PLAR History / Geography, the social studies component. So we wrapped up history, lesson 3 last class. Boom, that's all done. But you can still ask questions in regards to history if you're still working on that. But in terms of our class contents, we're just going to continue moving along our schedule and we're going to move along to geography lesson number 4. That's where we'll begin today. Before we do all that, again, just always a reminder, you can get a hold of me, in touch with me at any point, any time, by phone call during my office hours, by email, or by social media, Facebook as well. So again, I'm here to help. Let me know how you're progressing, even on some of your IL courses that you're working on, such as the CHC2P or the CHC2D, the CGC1P, any of those courses you're working on. You have any question, again, you can always get a hold of me as well. So again, let me know how you're progressing. Let me know how you're doing. which assignment you're working on, how far you're at. If you're stuck, let me know. I'm here to help. If you're just taking a little breather, taking a little break, that's fine too. But just let me know how you're progressing. That way I can keep a record of your assessment. To call in to listen right now, again, most of your Learn Centers should be reopened right now due to the terrible weather the last couple days, but Suzette sent out some emails today, some saying that some Learn Center has been reopened. So again, go to your Learn Center, call in the Wausau studio right now, listen with us, engage with us. You can also log on to Smart Bridget on your computer, at your Learn Center or at home, or you can simply listen by the radio as well. Any local students, stop by the office here at Wausau on Front Street. We can get you set up on a computer, get you some headphones to listen along as you go through this content and as you work on your assignments. Again, if you miss anything, this always can be found on the archive page or my YouTube page as well. So geography, that's the direction we're heading for today. That's what we'll be discussing for today's class. So again, lesson number 4, geography. Again, same workbook, same textbook. All that can be found there. So you open up your textbook to page 27. That's where the geography portion starts. Okay, so I can see from your textbook and your workbook, our major theme for lesson number 4 is called human geography. Yes, human geography. We're not looking at capitals and provinces and all that within Canada. I think we know all that by now from like grade 3, grade 4. So again, we won't be discussing what's the capital of this province, what's the capital of that city, or whatnot. So, but again, we're going to dive down and look at human geography for lesson 4. And then as we transition to lesson 5 later on, we'll be looking more about physical geography. Again, how it relates to Canadian geographical landscape, but not so much about the capital cities and all that. So again, very exciting, lots of details. Stay tuned for all of that. In terms of your workbook, the next assignment, that is assignment number 9. So again, geography is assignment 9 till 16. Again, we also have a total of 8 more assignments that, yes, you have to at least attempt and complete before you can write the tests. Again, just do your best, submit them to me, attempt them, try them, and then you can write your tests. Very, very simple in terms of PLAR. So for your next assignment, this assignment coming up, assignment number 9, it's more in depth. It's a bit more questions, but in terms of the quality, it's exactly the same thing. I'm still looking for full, complete sentences with details. I'm always looking for that. How we are able to articulate our thinking, our learning, our writing skills, and our reading skills. Again, that's what we're focusing on. As we navigate through geography, a couple things I want to highlight and emphasize. You'll see a lot of definitions. Okay, a lot of definitions. So again, any key terms that I emphasize or that are bolded or highlighted in your textbook, there's a good chance you'll see it again on your assignment. So even on your tests. So again, please pay close attention to those key words, key definitions. That's pretty much what this section of geography is all about. Just a lot of definitions, but again, it's pretty straightforward. So, do we want to look at assignment 9 question before we get started? Sure, why not? Let's look at these questions, see what they are asking. So that way, when we go through our lesson, you can highlight and make notes as we go along. So question 1, simply name the 3 main topics of human geography. We'll start the first one today. I will introduce the second and the third today as well, but we'll talk about the second and third later on. Question 2, what is economic geography? Again, like I said, a definition. You're simply to define what is economic geography. Simple as that. Question 3, what is a trade surplus? Again, a definition. What is a trade surplus? Again, class of students, you can always find all these answers in today's class, and you can also find them in your textbook as well. Question 4, what does NAFTA stand for? NAFTA. Again, I think we already covered that, so again, you should be able to answer that portion as well. When was it signed? When was it initialed? And which countries are a part of this agreement? Again, most of this we already covered, so again, kind of a bit of review as well. Question 5 talks about what are the benefits of NAFTA. Why do these countries want this agreement? What is the purpose of NAFTA? What is the main goal of NAFTA? What are the benefits outcome of NAFTA? 6 asks for what are the controversies of NAFTA. So again, look at the negative side. Why is NAFTA so bad? Provide details of these 3 controversies of NAFTA. Again, we'll talk about some. I'll just have some examples as well. And lastly, question 7, what are human rights? Okay, kind of similar to what we talk about in terms of legal rights and Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms, but slightly different. But what are human rights? Again, another definition. So again, that is assignment number 9. Pretty straightforward. Again, just some more definitions, a couple more questions. So again, this assignment should take you roughly about, I would say, at least half an hour to complete, give or take. So as you go through a textbook, go through the notes, answer the questions in sentences with details, it should take you roughly about half an hour or even more. Depending on our learning strengths and our styles, again, it may take you even 15 minutes, who knows, but roughly it should take you around half an hour or so to complete. So again, always go back, review it, check it before you submit anything. So that's assignment number 9. If we have time at the end of today's class, we'll go back. We will look at these questions again. We might even perhaps try some of these questions. But let's get started with today's class content so that we don't waste any more time. So again, geography lesson number 4. It starts on page 27, 28 in your textbook. So history and geography, you will definitely see a lot of overlap. Again, we already completed the history portion, but when looking at history and geography together, it helps us to identify 5 key points that I would like to share. Number 1, it helps us to understand the time frame, the time period of what was going on. 2, it helps us to understand the cause and effect. Okay, what caused it, what the long-term, short-term outcomes of it. So again, it helps us to understand the cause and effect. Number 3, it helps us to understand what continues and what changes for the future. Okay, it could be policies, what continue, any policy that change, any rules. So again, it helps us understand that. 4, it helps us to recognize and participate in a common memory. Okay, common memory. And 5, it helps us to develop a historical empathy, understanding, and sharing of feelings. So again, something that we can talk about, something that we can bring up, something that we all have in common. So our learning goals for today, over the next 45 minutes or the remainder of the class, we shall discuss what are human geography. What is human geography? That's our main theme. We're looking at human geography. Our success criteria is simply I can explain the pros and cons of NAFTA. So again, the good and the bad of NAFTA. And you can list examples of human rights. Okay, there are not just one or two examples of human rights. There are lots. So hopefully by the end of today's class, you can list some examples of human rights. So what are human rights? Again, a definition. You can find this in your textbook. On what page, you may ask? Well, it's on this page. Page 28 at the very top middle portion of that page. So let's summarize it. Let's go through it. Human geography is the human, political, and cultural branch dealing with geography. What does that mean? Well, it means that we're focusing on how humans adapt themselves to the land, to people, and the environment. Okay, space, place, human interaction. Okay, not our space, but the space in general, the place that we live here and there, and how human interact and impact those factors. So again, the human, political, and cultural branch focusing on how humans adapt themselves to the land and other people and the environment. So again, there are three main sections or topics right here. Economics, 2, urbanism, 3, military or militarism. Okay, so that's the three main sections that we're gonna focus on for lesson number 4. Again, like I said, we'll start off with economic geography today. Uh, Next class when we're together, probably our pre-recorded class, we'll talk about urbanism and militarism. So again, dealing with human geography, it can be so much factors. It could be globalization, it could be health, cultural health, it could be the government, it could be infrastructure, regions, language, nationalism, humanities, population growth, property, so much more. Okay, so that's what we're focusing on when looking at human geography. So again, highlight it, make note of it, note the definitions of human geography. And again, class, if any questions, just simply ask, let us know. We can discuss it, we can go over it, we can clarify it so that we're all on the same page. Economic geography, well, it can be complicated, but we'll just try to dive down and look at the simpler terms of it. So first main section that we're going to look at is economics or economics geography, which links off from human geography. Oh, look at this, a normal definition. So we're going to define economic geography or what it's all about. Economic geography is the study of a variety of varying economic conditions across the earth. It can be influenced by, not just limited to, the climate. Okay, climate plays an impact on our natural resources that we have. Climate also plays an impact on agriculture, forestry, and most importantly, productivity. So again, depending on where we live around the world, which weather climate we have, it impacts what resources, raw materials that we can produce, harvest, buy, sell, all of that. 2, geology, again, the land form, land formation, again, depending on where we live around the world, that plays a factor as well. We could be surrounded by trees, surrounded by lakes, have mountains, flatlands, good soil, bad soil, lots of high-rise buildings. Again, that all impacts our economic geography. And 3, social political factors. Again, how we interact with other nations, countries, communities, cities, with our policies as well, and how that play our factors with one another. So again, it all comes down to materials, products, and sales. What we have, what we want, what we can trade, what we can buy, what we can sell to others, depending on what we have. So for example, a more developed countries such as Canada, such as the United States, we have a more developed economy, which means that we can sell or attract others in terms of the products that we have. So that's the main goal. That's essentially what economic geography is essentially all about. The sales, the means of productions, trades, values, all of that. So again, going back to your textbook, again at the very top right here, boom, human geography. Next, in capital bold, even underlined, economic geography. Cannot miss it. It's right there. Next paragraph, it talks about what is economic geography. Again, that's all on page 28 in your textbook. You cannot miss it. Moving along to our next definition. What is a trade surplus? A trade surplus. A trade surplus is when a country with more goods to export to another countries than goods to import. In other words, a country that has more goods and items, materials to give away than more than their need. Okay, more than they're receiving. A good examples can be again Canada and United States. Again, we usually have pretty much all the materials that we want, raw resources, natural resources. We pretty much have all that. But other countries they don't necessarily have it, so they need it. So again, a country that gives more away than receiving is called a trade surplus. Or it can be summarized as the amount by which the value of the country's export exceeds the cost of its imports. Again, it's all about import versus export. Going back to your textbook right here, it's in the same paragraph as economic geography. It's at the very bottom of that paragraph right here. Trade surplus. Again, it's highlighted in bold. You cannot miss it. So when a country has more goods to export to another country than goods to import, is said to have a trade surplus. Again, guys, if I'm going too fast or you want me to slow down, just let me know. We can slow it down. If you want a break, let me know. We can throw on a little music break as well. Play all your favorite tunes. Have a little 5-minute break if you want. But again, you let me know what you want. This is your class, our class. We're here to learn together. So you let me know what you want. I will modify, I will accommodate as best as I can to help with your learning. NAFTA. Looking at NAFTA again. We touched on NAFTA briefly when we looked at history, but we're going to dive more in depth and look at the pros and cons of NAFTA. What is NAFTA? It's all about? Is it good? Is it bad? Do you like it? Do you dislike it? What is NAFTA? So as we know, NAFTA stands for the North American Free Trade Agreement. The North American Free Trade Agreement. It's simply an expansion of what we had before in terms of Canada's free trade with the United States, but we're just combining Mexico along with this agreement. Hence why it's called NAFTA, the North American Free Trade Agreement. It was signed back in 1994, January the 1st. Again, just note the year 1994, when NAFTA came into play. We all know the major players involved already: Canada, United States, and Mexico. Yes, all three are part of NAFTA. Again, the goal of NAFTA is simply trades between countries without paying additional taxes, revenues back and forth. So again, it's all about the removal as many taxes as possible on goods back and forth. So again, that's the purpose of NAFTA, so that we can have more what we want, so that have other countries such as Mexico can get what they want as well. So again, that is NAFTA, that is the goal of NAFTA. Trade between these countries again without paying additional taxes. So let's argue. Is NAFTA good? Is NAFTA bad? What do you think? I will present both sides of the picture. We'll talk about both sides, and then you can decide for yourself if you think NAFTA is good or bad. Again, these examples are in your textbook. There's probably more examples that are more current, more events that relate to NAFTA that can influence or persuade your thinking and your opinion as well. But again, we're just using examples that are from our textbook. So NAFTA, we'll start with the positive, then we'll look at the negative. So NAFTA, the benefits and the good. Again, simply restriction of tariffs, removals on examples, motor vehicles, automotive parts, computers, textiles, and agriculture. Again, we're trying to eliminate as much taxes as possible on some of these items. There could be more, but again, it could be in some of those basic that we need. Again, food, supplies could be cheaper, agriculture, clothing, textiles, technology with computers, again, cars, automobiles, those are in play as well. NAFTA also protects property rights and it protects trademarks and copyrights. Again, we don't always highlight this, but it's another benefit of NAFTA as well. It protects property rights, trademarks, and copyrights as well. Again, this all sounds great because it leads to economic growth. Again, more Canadians get what they want, or more satisfied that way. More jobs open up in Mexico. Again, sounds awesome as well. And because we're getting all the materials that we want and need to make us satisfied, it increases our standard of living to a certain extent. So that's NAFTA, the benefits, the good. Again, it creates more jobs. People get what they want. It makes a lot of people happy. Most of us would say. On the flip side, NAFTA can be controversies, okay? Dilemma, the problems, some may disagree with it, or simply the bad side of it. Canada and the United States often oppose NAFTA because they fear jobs will be taken away and moved to Mexico and due to lower wage costs. Because we can pay Mexico cheaper at a cheaper rate. So again, a lot of Canadians and Americans fear of this. Politicians, policy experts, economists believe that Canada would be turned into a branch plants, again, since we're highly influenced by the American economy. A lot of our companies nowadays are American influence. Our Canadian companies are being bankrupt and shut down because of those Americans. So again, another factor as well. Farmers in Mexico are opposed to this because they have to pay a heavy agriculture subsidy. It's detrimental to our economic impact on health and the environment. Poverty in Mexico has gone up, wages has went down, and there's a lot more illegal immigrants in Mexico and the United States because of NAFTA. So again, there are some controversies when looking at NAFTA, the good and the bad. So again, paying workers, uh, farmers, economic impact, or even non-economic impact such as health and environmental. We can also look at this certain clause known as Chapter 11, where it allows corporations to sue federal government if they feel regulation or government decision has impacted their investment. So again, because of this, it often scares away government from passing environmental regulations. So again, if it impacts on a certain corporation or company sales, again, all that drama can be unfold as well. So again, back to your textbook, you can definitely explore more about NAFTA simply by reading in your textbook, by doing more research. But again, at the bottom of page 28, again, highlighted in bold, NAFTA, the North American Free Trade Agreement, you cannot miss it. It continues on until page 29, page 30, and even on page 31 and page 32. It just keeps on going. Okay, so again, I just highlighted some key points that I want the class to come away with. Again, the positive and the negatives. You can definitely read more about it right here in your textbook. Again, it starts on page 28. Page 29 notes all about the positives. Again, talking about the restrictions and removal of taxes. Property rights, copyrights, trademarks are now protected. You can read more about the controversies on page 30, where it talks about all of that. The bankruptcy controversy clause, chapter 11, is on page 31. And it just continues on to page 32 as well. So again, NAFTA is a huge part, but what I really want to emphasize is what is NAFTA, the purpose of it, who's a part of it, what are the pros and cons of it. Okay, if you can note that, boom, you're on the right track. Okay, so again, just note what NAFTA is all about, who's involved, the pros and cons, we're on the right track. And we'll look at human rights. What are human rights? Again, not so much a definition, but just examples of human rights. Again, human rights should be applied to all, not just one, not just certain groups or ethnic groups, but everyone should have human rights. So again, they could be freedom, the truth, justice, love, rule of law, peace, prosperity, dignity, and even equality. So some basic examples of human rights. Again, the right to freedom in our beautiful country of ours. The right to earn fair wages. Again, regardless of our gender, boys and girls, male and female, should all earn the same wage. The right to move around in your country or even your community. The freedom of speech. You can speak your mind, your opinion, as long as it doesn't promote hate towards other. You have the right to practice any religion that you will like, culture, traditional values. Again, whatever you have, whatever you practice, you can do all of that as well. And a protection from danger as well. We can even throw in education. Education can be seen as a basic human rights, privilege. Again, no matter where we're at, which community we're living in, we should all have the same equal access to education. All the programs and services that we need, whether we're has an exceptionality, whether we're spec ed, special education, we should all have that same basic right to education. So again, you can throw that on the list as well. Again, this is just a few examples of human rights. Again, we'll see them again. Right to freedom, earn fair wages, move around your country, freedom of speech, religion, and protection from danger. Again, this is just a few examples. There's definitely way more examples out there as well. And that's pretty much what we have in store for today's class in terms of the content-wise. I don't want to get too far ahead, but again, you can look at human rights on page 33. Okay, again, it's highlighted in bold, even in capital letters. Font size is bigger. You cannot miss it on your textbook on page 33. In your textbook, it says the government of many countries of world violates the human rights of their citizens. It has been suggested that Canada should try to discourage these abuse by trying to trade with human rights countries. So, for example, imports from a country should be stopped if that country do not respect human rights. So, in other words, we want to protect, we want to promote, we want to encourage all these basic human rights. Again, basic rights to necessity. Again, all this come into play. So again, many Canadians believe that we should not trade with countries that violates human rights. It should be only trade with countries that promote human rights policies for the well-being of all citizens. Again, here in Canada, that's not so much of an issue. We promote it, we have human rights, but again, there are some limitations to others. Some are discouraged, but again, we want to try to eliminate that as much as possible. So that's the content for today's class. Again, may seem a lot, may seem little. Again, just a little introduction to geography, human geography as well. So going back to your workbook assignment questions, again, very straightforward. We can even answer some of these questions right now. So the first one, name 3 topics of human geography. We know one is economics. We know the other one is urban, which we'll talk about later on. And the last one is military. Hopefully you can now define what is economic geography. So again, you can start by saying economic geography is. And then define it, give some examples. Again, feel free to use examples when you're looking at these definitions. Okay, use examples that you have seen, have heard, or know, seen in your communities. Again, I love local examples. Again, it makes that connection within our community, our city, and our town as well. So again, go back, check it out. What is economic geography? Next question, what is a trade surplus? Again, a more definition. Again, you can always start by saying something like this, a trade surplus. Again, always restate the phrase, the definition before you write it. It helps in terms of your thinking and the direction you're heading. So a trade surplus is what? Again, go from there. Again, simply a mark for the correct answer and another mark for proper grammar, structure, sentences is what I'm looking for. Okay, really straightforward. If we're off the wrong topic, get it completely wrong, that's okay. I will simply ask you to redo it. I will include a page number, give you feedback. Again, that way you can go back, readjust, and see where you went wrong and how you can improve as well. So again, next question, what does NAFTA stand for? NAFTA stands for again, the North American Free Trade agreement. Again, when was it initial? When was it signed? 94. Which countries are involved? Again, we know it's Canada, United States, and Mexico. Again, that's all about a bit of review from what we learned before in the history portion. Again, our next two questions, 5 and 6, again, what are the benefits of NAFTA? Again, give us some examples that you know. What is the goal of NAFTA? Again, all of that can be found in your textbook. And lastly, question number 6, again, the negative, the controversy side of NAFTA. Why is NAFTA seen as controversial? Again, list 3 examples that we talked in class or that are in your textbook. And finally, what are human rights? Again, a definition. Give me some examples of human rights. Freedom of religion, freedom of speech. Okay, give some examples to help to demonstrate if you know what human rights are. Okay, you don't have to list all of them, just name a couple. Okay, so that's that for this assignment. Work on it. If you have any questions, let me know. If you have already done it, great. Move along. If you're falling behind, that's okay too. Finish all that up and just progress with your assignments. Again, just remember for PLAR, you just have to attempt all questions on your assignments before you can write the tests. What actually counts is your test mark. Okay, whatever mark you get on your test, that's gonna count. So again, not necessarily how well we do on these assignments, but just how well we can answer the questions on the test. So again, we must be able to read, must be able to find the answers, we must be able to articulate the answers in our own words so that we can understand it and write them out as well. Again, feel free to type it out, print it off. You don't necessarily have to write it off. Again, if that helps with your studies, by all means. So just a reminder, before we wrap things up and call it a day, call it an evening, here at WASA for PLAR History Geography with Jonathan, your teacher. Couple things. One, next week is March break. So again, if you have any exciting plans, feel free to share with the class. If you're going somewhere, doing something, that's all great too. Two, our WASA office here in Sulikout will be closed tomorrow at noon. Okay, so I will be in the office tomorrow just for the morning. So if you have any questions, let me know. Call me, email me, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. I will be checking my email. I will be checking my Facebook here and there over March break. So you still can get a hold of me if you have any questions or still need any help over the break. So again, I'm still here, not going anywhere. I will still be checking emails and my Facebook if you have any questions. And lastly, the week after March break, again, I just found out this today. So again, I apologize if this has caused any inconvenience. Again, I want to apologize in advance. But again, I just found out today that the week after March break, which starts on the 20th, but on that week, I will be away for the majority of that week. Class, once we return from March break, will be not necessarily canceled, but it will most likely be a pre-recorded class. So on Tuesday, again, get out your agenda, get out your calendar, make note of it, highlight it. Tuesday, March the 21st, I will be away. It will probably be a pre-recorded class. If I have to cancel it, sorry, I will just do a makeup class afterwards. And that's also apply for Thursday, March the 23rd. Again, that same week. So again, both classes after March break will most likely be pre-recorded. Again, once I return from March break, I will come in the office, I will pre-record everything, get everything prepared for class. But before I go to Thunder Bay to represent WASA along with Darren and Ruby at the non-mental health roundtable discussion session. That's why I'll be away. So again, that's the 21st and the 23rd. Again, like always, like I said, I'll post it on my email. Send an email out to all the DECs of that change. I'll post it on my Facebook status. But for class, you just keep working on your assignments. Get as much done as you can. Enjoy your March break. Again, whether or not you spend time with family or friends, doing something exciting. Have fun. Do it safely. Again, I'll be going home for March break as well to see my family and friends with that. But again, keep working on your assignments. We'll be back in class probably 2 weeks after from today. But again, still come to class, still call in and listen, still ask questions, still engage. Our learning never stops. That's it to me for today. Again, enjoy your March break. This has been PLAR History/Geography here at WASA. Again, my name is Jonathan. I am your teacher for this course. Enjoy your time off next week. Be safe. Take care. Bye for now.